Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you dropped by today. I have got a great wedding card to share with you, and this is what it looks like. So this is a hidden panel card, and I will explain what that means as we go along. I'll be using the stamp and die set, as well as the Scripty clear stamps from Kelly Creates, the Flourish and Leaves embossing folders, and these dies. So let's jump into it. First, I'm going to do all the cutting for my card pieces, so hang in there with me. You can visit my blog at vintagehillstudio.com for a list of supplies and dimensions. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is cutting a 7 by 10 inch piece of heavy cardstock. That will be the basis of my card. And then I will do the 6 by 7 inch panel, which will go on the front of my card. And then I will also cut a piece for my inside sentiment, which will be 4.5 by 6.5 inches. Again, all of these measurements can be found on my card blog at vintagehillstudio.com. I will have information about linking to that at the end of the video. So here is that front panel, that's 6 inches by 7 inches, and I'm going to score that vertically at 5 inches and reinforce that score line with my bone folder. So you can see that creates a little flap there. Then this is my card base, which will be a 5 by 7 card. It's a portrait style card. I scored that, of course, at 5 inches. And that leaves us our card base. And then my inside piece. Okay, so I'm going to start on this front flap. This is the 6 by 7 inch piece of cardstock. And this is what I will be stamping on. I use my Tonic Studio stamping platform, which is great for getting a very precise stamp. This will be the front of my card. So I'm taking that bride and groom and I'm trying to align them as closely to that front right corner as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to be using this VersaFine permanent ink. And I will get that stamped down. Now I have to try this several times. I don't know if it's my magnets or what's going on here, but you can see I don't get a clear impression, so I'm going to keep trying here. I'll have to re-ink this one more time just to get a full impression of the bride and groom, and then we'll be ready to move on. This creates a very detailed stamp and it's so beautiful. I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, here is that Flourish border embossing folder that I showed you earlier. That's going to go down the left side of my front panel, and then I'll bring over the sentiments for the front of my card, and I can see through the packaging, so I can kind of tell what words will fit perfectly here between my embossed border and my stamped image. So I just play around with this a little bit, and of course I'm going to have to flip this around because this is a clear stamp as well, and I need to go right above that bride and groom, so I'm just going to flip this around very quickly. I still have my stamping platform on the clear stamp side. Get that arranged how I want it. Add my magnet in there and get ready to ink up the sentiment. Alright, so I have a little bit of history on the bride and groom thing here, especially the bride gown, which I thought was really interesting. So did you know that gowns weren't always white? Of course, now we have several other colors, but white was actually introduced during the Victorian times for Queen Victoria. She brought up the white gown. But years before, brides would wear burgundy, red, blues, all different colors, and whatever they had in their closet, mainly their best church clothes at the time. And I thought that was interesting. So the amount of material that a wedding dress contained was actually a reflection of the bride's social standing. So more sleeves, longer train, richer the bride's family was apt to be, and they also continued to reflect the bride's social status or level of wealth. Okay, back to the card. So here is that Flourish embossing folder that I showed you, and I'm going to run that through my Sizzix Big Shot. This is the 6x7 front panel, and of course if you look on your Big Shot you can tell which level you need to put this through. This is tab number 1 for embossing. So I get that run through very quickly. And I was so excited about the embossing that I completely forgot that I wanted to, isn't that beautiful? I completely forgot that I wanted to cut out that bride and groom, so I'll get to that later. So I'll go ahead and get all of my embossing done at once. Now this is my 5x7" card base, and you can see I am flipped it backwards because this will actually create the hidden panel of my card. And this is what I mean. I have stamped on the right hand side and it will fold to the left instead of left to right. Okay, and here you can see my embossing folder did not go quite down low enough. So to fix that, I ran it back through my embossing machine, which left an impression on the upper half, and I just fixed that with my stylus and a little matte pad. So that's good to go, and this is how it will go together. Alright, so here is where I made my mistake. You have these little die pieces that come with the stamp and die set, and you can cut out the whole bride and groom like this, or you can just cut out a piece of it, and that's what I wanted to do, was just take away a part of that edge and die cut that. And I should have done that before I did my embossing, but I didn't, so I left that in to show you how I'm going to correct that. Now if I use my regular plate, it would completely smash my embossing there and defeat the purpose. So I have these thinner plates from Sizzix that are especially for like borders, but it worked well for this little piece of die cut that I needed just on the edge. And what this is going to do, of course I have to clean that up with my scissors very quickly, but what this is going to do by die cutting just that edge is going to give you a peek at that beautiful embossed hidden panel to let you know there's more to come within this card. So you can see my flap from my front panel is going to go right there, and my 5x7 embossed card that is going backwards will cover the flap. Okay, to show you what I mean here, I'm going to take some strong adhesive. In this case I chose to use liquid, and I will get that flap put down right on the left side of my 5x7" card base. Get that pressed down very well, making sure I have that aligned perfectly with the front of my card, and then I'm going to bring over my bone folder and just give that a good press to make sure I have good adhesion between the front and the inside of my card. So there's the gist of our hidden panel card. Now you can see I've got a little bit of bulk here. This is not closing completely, so I'm going to take off just a little piece on the inside there, and now it lays perfectly flat. So moving to the inside sentiment of my card, I have these two dies that I showed you earlier. One will create the background frame, and the front is what I previously stamped the inside sentiment on. Get that put together. Make sure my adhesive is perfectly administered underneath, and that's ready to go. So now I'm just assembling the very inside of my card with this black mat, which by the way was 5x7". And then the inside mat that I previously cut that was 4.5 by 6.5 inches will go layered in there. And then I'm ready for my inside sentiment. And by keeping this very simple with just two colors, the cream and the ivory, I think this makes a very elegant and simple card. So here's a look at the complete card with my hidden panel, my front embossing, My lined envelope, if you're interested, I have other YouTube videos out there on how to create your own lined envelopes without any special measurements or dies. This one happens to be embossed with an embossed liner, and I encourage you to go visit some of those videos to see how that's done. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how this card was made. Like I said, it's simple elegance, and I think anybody would love to get this card. So as a finishing touch, I did go back and grab a little piece of tulle, and I'm going to quickly tie this around the front of my card. Not that it needs any more embellishment, but if you want to keep it closed a little better, you can add this detail. It goes on quickly and it will slide right off for the recipient. Okay, so there's just another little detail you can add to your card if you wish. I'm so glad you dropped by today. I hope you will feel free to like the video, ring the notification bell if you want to see more videos, and I hope you'll come back and visit me real soon. Happy crafting!